Hi, I'm Bob DeCosta filling in for Dan Drake, and this is Front Up, and I'm here with Nat Lowell. And I don't know where this interview is going to go, so I'm going to let Nat start. We could be anywhere here.
Well, thanks, Bob, for
Good to have
having me, and I'm glad you're here. This is good. I did this a couple times. I think the biggest issue right now that's we're in a sort of a state on Nantucket right now where the island is red hot, white hot with work. Its desirability factor is at an all-time high, or it appears to be. Numbers don't always tell this real story. I think that right now, this is what I think is the biggest issue we have, is the fact that we have to admit who we are. A lot of locals, and we're two locals that understand all this stuff. We grew up at the same time when Nantucket was different. We didn't have a sports program at the school except football and basketball. The boat was in Woods Hole. The people that came here were people that already had dirt for free back in the day. Our parents were working in their houses. That was it. You didn't have caretakers. You had customers. You didn't say clients. You didn't have swimming pools. You didn't have sprinkler systems. You didn't have, you know, the amenities that you have today. If they had a car here, it was a square-back Willys. That was the life. And it's changed. And it's changed not yesterday. It started in the mid-'80s. We just didn't really quite figure it out. Work's never going to end. We were worried about the work ending, Bob. How many times have you been told over the last just 25 years, well, the work's going to run out someday? No, it isn't. It's not. And we're very fortunate. I was reminded by an off-island, just say a contractor, somebody that comes here a lot and doesn't live here, said to me, Nat, every community off-island would love to have a free Boys and Girls Club. Brand new. No tax money pays for the Boys and Girls Club. The hospital, the ice rink, the movie theater, things like that. Why is the desirability so high? Because Nantucket is different. And it's different to everyone for a specific reason. Not everybody likes the same things. Okay? It might be the bike path like Jason's just was on earlier. It might be the beaches. It might be a certain beach. It's a restaurant or two, or downtown streets. They just like to walk downtown. I mean, there's just so many different things that people like about Nantucket, but it's all individual.
Yeah. Well, and my experience is for every person that gets on the boat and says, this place has changed and I'm never coming back, there's 5 that get off and say, this is the best place I've ever been. I can't wait to come back.
Bingo.
So
that's a huge one right there.
The biggest fault I find is, you know, it's not 1975.
No.
You know, I can't drive on the beach at Jetties and drive all the way around to the tip
I like that. I like that.
And there's not 5,000 people living here year-round anymore now. There's probably 15, close to 20.
I'd say about 16,
yeah.
17.
I mean, I remember growing up as a kid, you would probably remember this, if you passed somebody on the road you didn't recognize, you turn around to follow them to see where they were going, because you knew every person in this island by sight. You might not know their name, but you knew them by face.
Oh, you looked at their license plate.
Right. And you don't, I don't know, I get on the boat, or I go to the airport or wherever, I know 10% of the people in the room.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the reality of it.
We have, and you know, like Jason, like Rita, we have some young people here in their 30s and 40s that are interested in a good way, and they're not looking at it like our generation or our parents, like we've ruined it, or I wish it was X, or I wish I could still do this. The New Jersey fishermen, they're gone. Why? Can't go fishing. You can't go to Great Point and go fishing anymore, whether it's the seals or whether it's the rules. I'm not going to get into that. That's it. They're not here now.
Right.
Okay, you remember that. My mother used to rent a cottage out to all those guys with the fishing rod racks on the front of their Broncos. Sure. There's nobody coming here for that. Now it's weddings and weekend events, restaurant week or wine festival. It doesn't matter. There's something every weekend on Nantucket until Stroll.
Yeah.
And it's
absolutely. It's like
up to Stroll.
It's still, you know, every weekend there's a festival.
And it's weather, all weather. Last year, just for your information, because you probably already know this, Last year was perfect. We had no bad weather events for any weekend for the 2016. So 2016 numbers, whether it's vote, it's sort of like a kind of a measuring stick for going forward and before as well, just so you know that.
So I'm going to ask you a question that's been on my mind for quite a while here, you know. As a selectman 6 years and going to town meetings for 25 years.
Oh, I know what you're going to ask me.
Do you feel that our present system of the town meeting is adequate and represents the true feelings of the town? Do you think it's time to go to a representative town meeting?
Okay. The representative town meeting, now that I understand it a little bit more, I've done a little bit of homework trying to figure out what would this be like. I don't think it's such a bad idea to consider it or at least discuss it at the board level, maybe have some public hearings, definitely in the summertime, because the summer residents don't vote. They need a say since they're paying 87% of everything here. And they may have more say with representative as well. I like town meeting. I feel like it's a sort of a family atmosphere. I like it even when there is disagreement. I still like it even when Sarah cuts me off at exactly 2 minutes. I love it, but I do agree with you that at least it's time to start seriously talking about representative because of the turnout issue. Well, if there's not a big ticket item, whether it's sewer, right, island home, I mean, it used to be the tents. Remember the tent issue out in One Home Away?
Building cap or something.
It's building cap. The builders used to walk out after a meeting, or town employees used to walk out after, and this is in the 80s and 90s, but beach driving was a big, now it's different. It's usually a municipal thing. I also want to say something to you in reverse. I haven't said this yet to anybody of a high official level yet, but I want to ask you a question. Do you think it's time to have 2 town meetings a year no matter what?
I do.
It's something that we're going to have.
I think you should do.
I agree.
You should have a zoning town meeting and you should have a fiscal town meeting.
Well, okay. I wouldn't go say it that specific. I think
or at least limit the amount of articles.
I think that we need to have, first of all, there's no difference between April 1st and October 1st as far as the season. You're still going to have the same accessibility to the island. If people that are away, you can plan your vacations, right, and that sort of thing. Right. We're too big on paper. Right. We're not too big landmass wise. We're too big. It's just we're $90 million, and what is it? A 90?
Yeah, I think we're up there.
There's just too much, and it takes too long to get there. Now FinCom, and I'm on Capcom. I don't know what that would do for that, but FinCom kills themselves for a couple months. Those guys are. That's a brutal job because they're working. But if they diligently
split it in half, they wouldn't have to kill themselves.
Well, I don't see. That's the stuff we haven't talked about.
And here's the other thing I think is, this year in particular, I noticed it. I said that the town, whether it be the planning board, the board of selectmen, FinCom, all of them, we know we're going to have an April 1st town meeting. If we had a November 1st town meeting or October 1st,
yeah,
whatever. If you don't have all your ducks in a row, meaning the article's gone through, the public hearings have happened, the maps are done, 3 weeks prior to that town meeting, it should just get pushed off to the next town meeting. Because literally, when you're seeing maps or you're seeing changes on the floor of town meeting or the day before, you're having public hearings, people don't understand what all these changes are, and their instinct is to just vote no on things. And it's unfortunate because a lot of these articles need to go through.
Well, one of the things, all right, that's a good point. I think I don't want to get into the zoning stuff too much right now because we don't have a lot of time. I want to talk about, because it's summer now, I want to talk about this whole capacity. There's a new sort of thing about there's too many people here. And I disagree with that. I don't think, I've been through the limiting car issue from the late 90s.
I don't think
it's just, it's something that you just can't, the Nantucket itself is self-limiting, self-regulating.
Well,
it's expensive, it's complicated to come here. The Cape, you want traffic, go to the Cape.
Yeah, but you also have to...
I don't want to say the word competition. That's not really exactly. I mean, right now we think we're on autopilot. A lot of, I don't want to mention names. I'm not going to do that, but there are a lot of people that are making decisions here that think we're just sort of automatically going to always have perfect, tons of people, you know, this great. But when our economy is at the highest level, which it is right now, the rest of the country isn't at that level. So we have to take the good with the bad. When we're sort of 3/4 throttle, the rest of the country is either half or a third. So it's complicated.
We're the last to feel a recession, first to come out of it.
Bingo. And our parents said it. You never have to worry about work on Nantucket. And they didn't know why, but it's true.
I believe that we don't have to have any conversations about regulating Nantucket and the amount of people. I don't care whether it's cars
Which
or
already
people,
happened.
It self-regulates itself. When people
Yeah.
come here and they can't get into a restaurant, or they can't
They click on a different website.
They just say, you know what, I'm not going back to Nantucket next year. And
Yeah.
it regulates itself.
It does.
It does.